Scan's ready, yeah. Alright.
Yeah, okay, Qasim, you can start now. Start your timer.
اوكي بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم أما بعد ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. So in this debate with a young brother, he's pretty young, but we will inshallah still debate. I hope we can discuss without ego, arrogance and insincerity. Otherwise such debates will be like it'll be fruitless. At bare minimum, I hope we can walk away with an understanding of each other, and perspectives and whatnot. And inshallah, at the end of it, you maybe might become Sunnis. You never know. So, inshallah. So, today, what we're going to tackle is the topic is who should have been the successor? Should they have been Abu Bakr or Ali radiallahu anhu? This isn't the core difference within the Sunni Islam. Within Sunnis and Shias, this isn't the core difference. The core differences are such as tahrif, believing the corruption of the Quran, or topics like imama, that these imams have a greater status than the prophets. These are the core differences, as well as cursing the Sahaba and whatnot. Okay, so let's proceed. In this debate, I'm assuming that because I've got a bit of exposure to the opponent, I'm assuming he will do a couple of things. In this debate he will use shadh hadith. Shadh hadith are those who are contradicting, so they contradict other sahih hadith. So he's going to use shadh hadith, which basically go against stronger hadith, and he's going to basically show you, okay, this is sahih. So this is one thing he might do. Whereas it has a hidden defect, there might be a ilal within the hadith. The second thing which he might do is he will bring narrations, which on the spot I will not be able to check the reliability of it, because you have to be a muhaddith to be able to do that on the spot, right? You have to be in depth on that. But I will try to see what the narrators, try to investigate them. I've already done a bit of investigation on the narrators, but if he brings something new, anything he's going to bring, any narration he's going to bring, if it goes against something that's stronger than that narration, even if it's sahih, it'll be rejected. So it's the principle of shadh. If you like more details, you can ask me in your time. Okay, so let's get started.
Okay.
Let me show my screen.
Joined.
So you guys should be able to join the live and see this, the references here. Okay, so this is basically okay, so basically when it comes to Shiaism, right, when it comes to Shia religion, it boils down to mainly politics. So whenever you hear them talk, they'll be talking about politics. And this is one of those topics which got to do with politics, it's got to do with emotion and politics mainly. Secondly, the Shias approach Sunni texts to suggest that Ali radiallahu anhu should have been the first leader after the Prophet, which is a big mistaken approach, because what they do is approach our sources, the Sunni sources, the Bukhari or Muslim and whatnot. But that's a big mistake, because our sources are very clear cut in regards to this. Our sources are clear cut on the virtues of Abu Bakr anhu, and the fact that he should have been the worthy leader. So anything they bring, the parable of it is like a solid brick house attempting to be destroyed by sponges. So a solid brick house will not be destroyed. So here I asked the scholar, I said, is this something that nullifies the faith? And he mentions, it's a fatwa from a scholar, he mentions that this isn't a topic that actually nullifies the faith. So even if you believe Ali should have been the first leader, it doesn't nullify your faith. Like I said before, there's other things that are fundamental which we differ on, which actually does nullify faith, like tahrif and whatnot. The corruption of the Quran, which the Shias believe in, for example. But anyhow, that's not the topic. Let's continue. So firstly, what I'm going to do is prove the virtues of Abu Bakr from our hadith. So Ali anhu himself, in our narrations, Ali himself stood on the pulpit in Kufa and said the best of this ummah after its Nabi is Abu Bakr and Umar. As you can see, the references are there. Ibn Taymiyyah has mentioned that this has been reported from 80 chains. This is mutawatir. Ali himself is saying, with mass transmission, it has reached us that Abu Bakr and Umar are the best from our narration. So remember this is mutawatir, and whatever he's going to bring is going to be ahad. and ahad cannot go against mutawatir. Anyhow, let's continue. You can see here, these are the list of sources from Bukhari, Ahmad ibn Majah, and these are some of the things I just quickly got on this, on the spot. At the same time, I've got these. I've got a list of the chains as well. What makes it mutawatir? The list of it. I also have a graph of it as well. The chains. If anyone wants to see that, you can message me privately later, or you can DM me later, and I can send it, or you can DM me on the channel. Okay, secondly, there's another hadith where it says the Prophet ﷺ delivered a khutbah and said, Allah has given a slave the choice between this world and what is with him. And he chose what is with him. Abu Bakr began to weep. And then the narrator says, I said to myself, what is making this old man cry if Allah has given the slave to choose between this world and what's with him? And he chose what is with him. Then the narrator says, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ was that slave that the Prophet was referring to, and Abu Bakr was the most knowledgeable of us. He said, Abu Bakr, do not weep. So this Prophet saying this. He said, Abu Bakr, do not weep. Abu Bakr has favored me greatly with his companionship and his wealth. And then the Prophet says, if I were to have taken a close friend among my ummah, I would have chosen Abu Bakr, but the brotherhood of Islam is sufficient. Then he said, do not leave any door to the mosque without closing it off apart from the door of Abu Bakr. So by the way, this is one of the last sermon that the Prophet gave. And from my recollection, this is even after the sermon of the Hajj. This was after that. So this is, and look what the Prophet is saying. He's saying, do not leave any door to the mosque without closing it apart from the door of Abu Bakr. Keep that open so you can have access. And then the hadith is in Bukhari, Muslim, the sources are there. If you guys want it, let me know later, I'll send it. So if you want to make notes, you can make notes and I'll send the sources later, inshallah, on any of the particular things I'm mentioning. The third hadith, the Prophet ascended Uhud and Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman followed him, and then he began to shake with them. And the Prophet of Allah struck it with his foot and said, be still, for only a prophet and ever truthful and 2 martyrs are on you. So this narration, right, is in Abu Dawud Sahih as well. This narration indicates the Prophet knew the situation that will occur with both Umar and Uthman, and the fact that the Prophet mentioned them in order in many hadith shows that he knew the order they'll become khalifas. So if you ever examine that with the text, right, you'll see all of them are in order. And this actually shows that the Prophet knew that they're going to be in a certain position, they're going to be in a certain position. Abu Bakr first, then Umar, then Uthman, and then Ali. That's exactly how it happened. And in many narrations, that's how the Prophet phrased it as well. Like here, the Prophet himself is saying that there are 2 martyrs, and that was Umar and Uthman. And he says, a prophet and ever truthful and 2 martyrs are on you. So he called Abu Bakr untruthful, for example. Okay, the next narration, Messenger of Allah said Abu Bakr is in paradise. So the Prophet saying Abu Bakr fil Jannah, Umar fil Jannah, Uthman fil Jannah, Ali fil Jannah. So all of these are in Jannah, and this is Sahih Hadith in Tirmidhi. So if you look at the order again, it's in the same order that the Prophet is saying. So it shows that the Prophet knew that they're going to be in succession. So number 5. So remember, this is all the virtues of Abu Bakr. The next part is going to be about why he should have been the leader, and then I'm going to go to the Shia sources to prove that as well. Okay, then number 5, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah 9, verse 40, he says, and he was the second of the 2 when they were in the cave, and he was saying to his companion, do not grieve, Allah surely with us. So Allah caused his tranquility to descend on him and supported him with troops that you did not see. And then the verse continues. So the point here is very pertinent. Point is that Abu Bakr was referred to as a Sahabi in this verse, right? Allah is with him, since Allah repeated the statement in the Quran. So Allah said, Allah mentioned that Allah is with. He says because the Prophet says, "Do not grieve." He said that to Abu Bakr. He says, "Allah is surely with us." This is Quranic verse. So denial of this is kufr. So this is very, very important. Denial of this is kufr. So be careful regarding that. So here, you just ask yourself a couple of questions. So if you look in like other verses of the Quran, right? In Surah 8 verse 19, Allah is with the believers. Allah mentions, Inna Allah For example, Allah says, "Inna Allah ma'as sabirin." Allah is with the patient. So Allah, in various places in the Quran, has mentioned that He is with the believers, He's with the patient. And in Surah 2, verse 194, He says He's with those who fear Him. And then in Surah 3, verse 32, Allah hates the disbelievers. That's the opposite. And then Quran, Surah 9, verse 68 says, Allah has cursed the hypocrites. So Abu Bakr anhu cannot be neither, since Allah wouldn't be with him if he was, as Shia describe Abu Bakr anhu. And so we know Abu Bakr, without a shadow of a doubt, was a believing Sahabi, and Allah is with him. Okay, that should be clear cut. Now I'm going to mention Shia tafsir. So these are Shia tafsir actually affirming this. So the Quran has mentioned this. Now we're going to show from their own sources that this is the case. So let's go. So okay, let's start. Let me start with the references. This okay, so this is by Sheikh Ali Rashidi. This is Tafsir al-Quran. This is Sheikh Ta'ifa Abi Ja'far Muhammad bin Hassan Tusi. So this guy, right, he says, you can see here, he mentions وهو أبو بكر في وقد كونهما في الغار. So he says within the cave it was Abu Bakr. Then he continues, there's another tafsir which says Sheikh is by Sheikh Abi Ala Fadl bin Hassan Tabrasi. So he also says the same thing. Let me show you. He says it here. Let me give it a second. Okay, I'll send this inshallah later. I'll highlight it later inshallah. But anyway, he says the same thing. And then there's also the tafsir. This is another tafsir. It's by Sheikh Abd Allah bin Jum'ah. And then it says Urusi Huwazi. So that's a Shia scholar also. And then he says, Kana Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam qala li Abu Bakr. And then he mentions that as well. And then there's another Shia tafsir. This one's by. So this is by Alama Sheikh Hussein A'lami. And he mentions the same thing. Then there's also a tafsir which actually does tahrif. He actually recites the Quranic verse differently, and which hasn't been preserved in the same way. So he actually changes it. So
Qasim, we've got a few minutes left.
Alright, no problem. So this tafsir, the one that does tahrif, right? That's by Tafsir al-Mizan by Sayyid Tabatabai. It's a bit hard to pronounce his name. Then there's plenty of tafsir here. Let's skip this part. Anyway, so there's also another evidence of the virtue of Abu Bakr anhu. For example, Bayt Ridwan, the Prophet said, "You are the." He said, "You are the best people on the earth," and the reference is in Bukhari. He said that regarding the people who gave the bay'ah. Then the Prophet said, "None of those who gave the pledge under the tree shall enter the fire." So this shows the virtues of Abu Bakr since he was there, and he talks about 1,400 Muslims, 1,400 Muslims being there as well. Also, Surah Layl, that's another evidence. I'm just going to quickly try skipping through this because I've got a lot to cover. So Surah Layl is also evidence for Abu Bakr since our tafsir has mentioned this, that there's consensus regarding this, where it talks about, let's see, it talks about, and those with taqwa will be far removed from it. And this, then the tafsir have mentioned that this is regarding Abu Bakr and this is consensus. Ibn Kathir mentions this. And then there's another hadith which says, the Prophet said, Abu Bakr and Umar are the masters of the elder people among the inhabitants of paradise, from the first ones and the last ones, not including the prophets and the messengers. Then the next hadith, then the next point is, all of the blessed companions will be saved from the hell. Because if we have a hadith,
10 seconds left.
10 seconds, 15 minutes gone.
Yeah.
Bro, Oh, okay. I'll try covering the next. Because I had this parallel proof from the
Yeah, your time's up now. Ghost,
Okay.
you can start now.
Okay. First of all, what I realized from your what was a Google Drive is that you mainly were about the topic of Abu Bakr in the cave. I don't really care if I know the argument to respond for it, but real quick, Abu Bakr being in the cave is a whole other topic than Ali being a successor. Like you said, oh look, in our books, Abu Bakr has many virtues and they're mutawatir by our standards. But I honestly couldn't care if Ibn Taymiyyah calls them mutawatir because some other agrees. Because you see, I can also prove virtues of Imam Ali in your book and say, "Oh, look, he's also a good successor." But you also talked a lot about the cave. I want to say that. Let's say Abu Bakr is a mu'min. Okay, I'm a battery now. Okay, if he's a mu'min, it still doesn't mean he should be a khalifa. Okay, we're not here on talking about. Oh, Abu Bakr, he was in the cave, so he's a mu'min. Okay, that's not the topic. We're on is Imam Ali a khalifa? Okay, that's our main topic that we're trying to stay on. And do not go on. Let's say, oh look, in this hadith, also in the Shia references that you brought, one of them I realized were from Islam.org. I'm not sure if you're quite knowledgeable in Shia tafsir, but I couldn't give a damn if like what was it, some random guy on Islam.org wrote a tafsir on it. Okay. Also, the scholars that you mentioned, oh, you brought one good one, Aini, and also about the tahrif thingy. If this was about incompleteness is not tahrif. It just means, oh look, a bit of this ayah was gone, and I can prove this from your own books. So let me get the scan here. Where is it? Let me go to my documents library. Tahrif from Sunni books. Where is it? Where's tahrif? Let me find it. There. Here's Sahih ibn Hibban. I'll send it. Where is the followers of truth? Let me get it there. Debate tree. Here in Sahih ibn Hibban, if you're trying to use a tahrif argument verse, you guys do tahrif on Surah Al-Ahzab as Ibn Hibban, and here he says that the Surah Al-Ahzab has to be bigger than Surah Al-Baqarah. But here we're going off topic because I don't really care if tahrif existed or not. And the first Abu Bakr in the cave is quite off topic. I couldn't care less if Abu Bakr was in the cave or not. We're about Khalifa. And to prove Imam Ali's Khalifa, I will give you a few scans. So this one's by Kitab al-Sunnah. Here, I will make the translation real quick. In Kitab al-Sunnah, Rasulullah says to Ali, your status to me was like Harun was to Musa. And as we know, Harun, who was a successor to Musa. Now the Sunni code for this is, this was a temporary thing. Now, hypothetically, let's say it was a temporary thing. It still makes Ali, because you believe we should vote for it, it still makes Ali eligible for a Khalifa, because when Rasulullah was gone, he took power. So we can use it as this way, but I don't believe this was temporary. Because if you're at the end, this is talking about after the death of Rasulullah. He's not coming back. He's dead by your side. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, I'll send you another one. Let me get it. Here. I'm leaving a mess, right? Yeah, there. Here, let me get that. Here. In Musa Ahmed, I'll send you. It's quite long, so yeah. And also, you brought Ibn Taymiyyah, so I'll give you Ibn Taymiyyah real quick as well. So, the victory. Here talks Ali being a successor, and I will give you another one. Let me go back to the Musa Ahmed reference. It's quite long, so yeah. Yeah, it's quite long, just say. I'm gonna get it. So, wait, I made a thread by accident. I need to. It's hard on phone. So yeah. Okay, there. And now Path of Truth again. And debate. And here. And Muslim Ahmed, I'll give you the reference real quick as well. And let me get the page again. I need to go back to my document. It's upset phone, so sorry for the time.
Ghost, if you could just share your screen, I think that'd be way more easier.
Oh no, because then people can get the time and like dox me, and I don't want that. Because when you share your screen, people can see the time and like guess where you live. So where is the Path of Truth? There. Here's the reference. A debate tree room. And another thing to add up on your claim, you said Abu Bakr being a righteous Khalifas. Yeah, I saw these hadiths. The only thing is, I realized these translations are quite biased. If you read the Arabic one, the hadith has nothing to do with Abu Bakr being a cave. For example, one of the ones that you put was Aisha falling down and accepting the Khalifa of Abu Bakr. The translation is not even close to what the English one is saying. So I couldn't care less. Also, if you say this is mutawatir, so you should accept it. Also, it's mutawatir by your standards, and you brought Majmu' al-Fatawa and Minhaj al-Sunnah. I couldn't care if Ibn Taymiyyah said this hadith was mutawatir. And also, the one in Kitab al-Sunnah, if you read the footnote, it says isnaduhu sahih, according to Albani, and I'm pretty sure you have high respect for Albani, so you can take that as well. And yeah, I still have a few arguments, but I don't want to say them real quick because then I'll run out very early. So yeah.
Can I have your time?
Yeah, sure.
Damn.
Thank you. How much time do I have now?
Okay, yeah. He's got extra 7 minutes.
So that's
I have
12 minutes, yeah?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have extra summaries. I thought it was 10. Okay, sure.
Nah,
I'll
yeah.
just scans then. So here, big document.
After this introduction, by the way,
Can I go ahead now? Can I respond to
questions.
some of the things you
Oh
mentioned?
no, we have 7 minutes left. So
Wait, Qasim,
Bro, come on, man.
Qasim. Let him finish his introduction, and then afterwards you can do the rebuttal.
He's pretty much finished. Like, he's gone quiet.
he's gone. I sent you like one scan, and you have many copes for us, like Abu Bakr and being in the chain. So yeah, we're not done here. And so that's the first one.
No problem.
Yeah. So wait a sec. In Iran, and the thing is blocked, so I need to just get a VPN real quick and unblock it. Islam DB. Islam DB link for the Isnad. So where's Islam DB? Wait, I'm trying to find it. There, I found the link, and now I'll send it. Here. Path to Truth Debatory. So here in Islam DB, I'll send the link real quick. And the one in Kitab al-Sunnah, the cope for it is Abu Bakr being the chain, and you say it's weak. That's the main cope for it. Here, Abu Bakr is being authenticated by many scholars. So yeah, you can check that out. And also, yeah, here are just some more scans of approving the Khalifa of Imam Ali. So I'll just send a few. So let me just get them. I forgot on phone. I need to download the scan. So let me just download every scan. Okay, done. Now I will go to Path of Truth and send majority of the. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's still downloading. Just wait for the download of the scan. Okay, let's see if it got downloaded. Yeah. I saw image saved at the top, so I'm just gonna send it real quick. So Path to Truth. Here, just something. It's just the book cover got down. Let me just get it again. So here in this book, I'll send here again. Let me get this. Yeah, finally got downloaded. Here, Follow the Truth Debate Tree. Finally. Oh, there's a lot being downloaded. Just okay. The book got down. Here's a scan for it. Here's another. Here. In the 4 books, it's just coming in. And the only problem is in Iran, the download thing is quite slow. So one of them is 400. What's it? A KB. So just wait. There came the book cover, and now the scan. Here, Ali is being known as successor, and it's not in the bottom is Sahih. So here is another proof of Ali being a successor, and another response to all the Shia references that you brought. A majority were from Islam.org, so I couldn't care, and also. We believe that Abu Bakr was the guy in the cave. It's not something new for us. So yeah.
Your Ghost, you have 4 minutes.
Okay, 4 minutes. Now I shall open my other document. So here.
Bro, this is not how debates happen. You don't just send links on the channel, and you're supposed to actually read your debate material out and discuss it.
Okay, well, the link, it's a bunch of scholars calling Abu Bakr fiqh, trustworthy.
I mean, obviously, I'm not going to actually go through
the Islam TV
the
website.
links right now.
I mean, I'm not gonna share my screen because people are gonna guess where I live and where I live. So yeah. And also sending links. I just sent Islam DB. It's just a website that says scholar opinion on who's fiqh. It just sends the name, the scholar like Al-Zahabi, and then the narrator, and then the grading of it. It's not really that hard. So I don't need to explain it that much.
Okay, so if you finish you can carry on sending links there. But if you finish speaking, like in terms of mentioning the points, then I can maybe continue my 5 minutes. Do my 5 minutes.
Yeah. And let me just open my documents. It's hard on phone, so wait. Don't know. So here. Let me just scroll down until I find it. Wrong document. Scroll down.
So currently you're sending documents right on that channel. So you're not making any verbal arguments. Am I right?
Document? Verbal arguments? No, I just get the scans from the documents and that's it.
Okay, can I start my 5 minutes now? If you're finished with, you can carry on sending your scans if you like.
Yeah, just wait. I just find it. It's quite down deep in my
Ghost, you have 3 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find the document real quick.
Bro, 3 minutes to remain quiet. What's the point of that?
It's gonna take a while. Just wait.
Ghost, you can just explain why.
Okay, I can just explain.
Yeah.
Boogeyman. I don't think Islam DB is Shia pen. Boogeyman. I don't think Islam DB is Shia. What is it? Shia pen, but sure.
Maybe leave that to the Q&A.
Okay,
During
anyway.
the debate, you're not supposed to be addressing people.
Okay, anyway. So here in another hadith, I'll send another scan real quick. Here.
Ghost, you have 1 minute left.
1 minute, sure. Here, let me get it real quickly. Here, Fat al-Bari by Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. Here, I'm gonna send it real quick. Here, I'll read it. Here, as for the hadith of Man Kuntu Mawla fa Aliyun Mawla, Al-Tirmidhi and Al-Nasai recorded it, and the chains of narrators are very numerous, and Ibn Uqda has collected them in a separate book. And many of those chains are either Sahih or Hasan. So we know. Okay, yeah. Anyway, what is it? SMH.
Yeah, Ghost, your time's up.
Yeah, I just want to read the hadith real quick. And we have narrated from Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal that he said nothing has reached us narrations the merits and virtues of the Sahaba as much as what we have about Ali. I keep on stuttering, but yeah, sure. So here you were talking about the merits of Abu Bakr. Here, as we see, Ali has more merits than Abu Bakr. So you trying to prove it from your own books means nothing, as Ali has even more merits.
Ghost, you're gonna have to hurry up. It's Qasim's time now.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Alright, so having this,
Yeah, so Qasim,
obviously,
your 5 minutes starts now.
yeah, in history there was a lot of people that attacked Ali radiallahu anhu. Hence there was more in regards to virtues that were passed down and transmitted. So anyhow, that's the side point. Harun radiallahu anhu, you quoted a hadith about Harun. So that hadith about Harun doesn't prove your point that he's that Ali will be the successor. That hadith doesn't prove that. Why? Because Harun alayhi salam was a deputy of the Prophet Musa Islam while he was alive. He passed away before Nabi Musa Islam. He was, and then Yusha bin Nun, he's the one who actually succeeded Musa Islam. So the Khalifa was actually Yusha bin Nun. So that hadith cannot be used. That's number one. The second thing is, this hadith was regarding the munafiqun. There's a hadith in Musnad al-Bazzar where the Prophet said, "Oh Ali, are you not pleased that you are unto me as Harun was to Musa, but there's no deputy after me?" So this was said in regards to because the munafiqeen was Ali said, "O Messenger of Allah, the munafiqeen are saying that you are left me behind because of your dislike." So the Prophet mentioned this as his virtues. So this doesn't prove successorship. That's number one. Number two, you mentioned about tahrif. In our books, it's abrogation. So you're trying to conflate two things. No Sunni scholar actually says that the Quran has been corrupted, whereas your scholars have clearly said that the Quran, this part of it is being missing. Part of it is missing. So that's major kufr. He takes it out of the fold of Islam. Number five, that tafsir I was showing on the list on my document, these are all tafsir not from Islam Q&A. These are actually from there's a website which actually shows you the volume and the page number of it. If you like, I can give you the volume and page number later. And then you mentioned something about Aisha falling down. I don't know what you're referring to. I've shown no narration about Aisha falling down. And let's see, there's something else. Mutawatir. There's something you mentioned about Mutawatir. I can't remember that one. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some sources, right, where it completely will destroy your whole argument about Man Kuntu Mawla and Harun and all these from your own scholars. Now I'm going to screen share. You guys can follow along, and you can see you can see the screen pages and whatnot, the same scans he's talking about. And it's pretty embarrassing. Like if you're debating, you're supposed to bring the point. You're not supposed to just remain silent and just mention a few words here and there, and then just send the scans. It's pretty embarrassing to do this. It's not. That's not what you call a debate. Okay, so let me show you from the Shia sources themselves. Give me a second. See you. Okay, this is a narration from actually the grandson of Ali radiallahu anhu. Think about this now. This is the grandson of Ali radiallahu anhu, You can see here's a scan. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see it clearly, but if you can't, then inshallah I can send it later. Where basically he says, didn't the Messenger of Allah sallallahu there's it's by Muhammad bin Asim al-Thaqafi in his Juz 42. He narrates authentically from Shababa from Fudail bin Marzuq that an extreme Shia asked Hassan, didn't the Messenger of Allah said to Ali, whoever I am his Mawla, then Ali is his Mawla. He replied, by Allah, if he meant rule and authority, then he would have been clear about it. In the same way that he was clear about prayer and charity and fasting in Ramadan, etc. He would have said, "O people, Ali is Wali Amrikum, the caretaker of your affairs after me. So listen to him, obey him. For the one that had the best interest of his people was the Messenger of Allah." So it's clearly there's a narration from even the grandson of Ali anhu, but he mentions that it's not even clear. Like all these narrations, it's not even clear. If it was clear, it would have been clear, like the praise, etc. Forget, like obviously I mentioned that narration. Even the Shia scholars themselves have admitted this. So we have a Murtada, Sharif al-Murtada. He was a 12 Shia jurist and theologian, and he was a student on Mufid. He was the elder brother of Sayyid Radi, and he's compiler of Nahjul Balagha. He's a highly revered Shia figure, even to this day. Look what he mentions. Here's a scan. And look what he mentioned. I've got less time, so I have to quickly speak. As for us, we do not know its evidence and its intended meaning except through istidlal. And he says, you are to me as Harun was to Musa, except so he quotes this, and then he says, these types of texts, now this is very, very important. He said, these types of texts are what our companions refer to as hidden textual proof. So these are hidden things. It's not clear cut. And then he continues regarding that. And then there's another, there's a lot of things I wanted to mention, but time went fast. But anyhow, there's also from Tusi and Tabrasi and Ahilli all said similar things about this. What they said was this is a hidden proof. Let me see.
Qasim, you got 30 seconds.
Right, okay. Yeah, I'll just conclude. I'll send this document inshallah in the channel right now, and then you guys, if you want to check it out on your own time, everything's in this document. Everything like from the Shia perspective on what proves Abu Bakr anhu is a Khalifa. I'll mention that next. Abu Bakr and Khalifa is next.
Okay, Ghost, your time starts now. Yo, Ghost. Hello?
Ghost, we can't hear you. If you can leave and join back.
Yo, Ghost.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I'm gonna start your time at
Can anyone hear me?
3, 2. Yeah, we can hear you. I'm gonna start it now, yeah? Alright, go. What?
Wait, he's gonna join back. His mic
Okay.
wasn't working.
Yo, Ghost.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start your timer.
Okay, yeah, my thing
Alright,
was
go.
lagging. I barely could hear anything, but sure. Okay, yeah, I saw a few scans and that was it. One of them I realized you used term Sharif al-Murtada. First of all, if Sharif al-Murtada says, oh look, in this hadith, it's quite like, let's say, it's hidden. And there's many other scholars that say this is very clear. For example, Al-Kulaini says, this hadith of Ali being a successor is so true and so good that we will be celebrating this in the Jannah. And I have the hadith. And so also, if I know the statement of the one that you're trying to prove, that oh look, Sharif al-Murtada says this and that. Okay, let's say he actually believed this. I can use you many other scholars who said that this is very clear, and I can show you from your own books that is very clear. So yeah. Also, can anyone hear me? Just say in text.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, and I'm gonna show you from your own sources that it's quite clear. I'm sorry if I don't respond to majority of your arguments because I was lagging and I could barely hear you. So yeah, No, I'm gonna wait. The Wi-Fi is bad. Just wait a sec. I can't get the scan. Okay, they're fine. No, wait again. It's gonna take a while because what does it? Yeah, there. Here, I'm gonna send you a few hadiths of the event of Ghadir that, as Shias, majority of us believe that this is the proof that Ali should be the successor. And now I just need to go on top of the document. Just wait, the Wi-Fi is quite bad. Finally. I'm getting up there. The Wi-Fi. Okay, there. Oh yeah, while I'm getting it, I also want to respond to a claim of deputiness of Harun. Yeah, I know, Harun, he died. But either way, he was still supposed to be a successor. It doesn't prove anything. And also, if you actually read the Arabic text, it says Khalifati. This is about successorship. So, it's not about him being a deputy for 1 month and then done. And the word Khalifati is being used, so this is about successorship. So that's the first thing. And another thing about deputiness, you didn't bring the argument of the chain. I actually thought you were gonna bring the chain argument of Abu Balaj, but sure. And you were also talking about the Shia scholars. I'm gonna show you a Shia scholar, Sibt al-Jawzi, who said there was 12,000 people at the day of Ghadir. So I don't think this is very weird, as there's 12,000 people. And I'll show you the scan right now. So, path of truth, the very tree. Okay, here. See if it downloaded finally. Wait, debate room, there. Okay, I'm just gonna read the scan for you. Here's Dr. Josie. He says that there was 12,000 people, not 12,000, 120,000 people at Ghadir at that event. So, yeah.
Guys,
And I'm gonna send you another one as well. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm gonna send you another scan to prove the point of Ghadir. Sunan ibn Majah, here. I'll also get the translation of it, here. Wait, the Wi-Fi is bad. Finally. Here, I'll read it in Sunan ibn Majah for Sahih chain. I'll get the scan, but the scan is downloading. So, Rasulullah says, verily the salah of any one of you is not accepted until you have done wudu, just as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded in the Quran.
Alright, guys,
Yes.
we're done, yeah?
And this is about wudu, and if you... no, I have a few scans, but the only problem is the internet sucks and I can't send anything.
Okay,
so I think it's my turn now, isn't it?
No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you guys, but it's Qasim's time now.
Listen, Ghost, you just screen share, bro.
Okay, so it's my time now. Okay, so let me address some of the points he mentioned, and inshallah I'll go back to proving that Abu Bakr is the rightful leader. Okay, he's mentioned about Bulj. Like I said, I've already done research on this, so most of my document covers everything that he said. So if you look at here, I've addressed this already. So basically, he quotes a hadith where he talks about, I should not go unless you are my Khalifa to every believer, basically, after me. This is not reliable. This part of the hadith is not reliable. The only part that's actually mutawatir is the Hassan one. Like your position to me is like the position of Harun was to Musa. That's the only reliable part. and the rest part of it is not as reliable. And I'll give you some references why this is not reliable. Just because a scholar says Sahih Isnad is not sufficient. Okay, so Ibn Kathir says the fact that Isnad is deemed to be Sahih or Hasan does not necessarily mean that the same applies to the text, because it may be Sha'ab, like I mentioned before, it's an odd report, or there's a ilal, there's an error within it because it's contradicting. Then let's continue. Let me show you what some scholars have said about Abi Balj, and then we can finish then we can go on to the next one. Bukhari says Abu Balj al-Fazari is weak. He says Bukhari says this. There's many other here, man. I don't really want to go through this because I want to get to the main things of what I actually want to cover. But there's a whole list of people who actually weakened him. Like, yeah, you can see through all this. You can see the Arabic as well. You can just find it. I went to a lot of depth in this regard. Okay, he mentions about it doesn't matter if Harun died early. That's a massive error, because are you saying during the Prophet lifetime there was 2 Khalifas? The Khalifa was left behind in charge of Medina, for example. There was, if you look in Sirah Ibn Hisham, there's more people like there was people who were in charge of Medina that were left behind as successors. So it wasn't Ali only who was always left behind. That, there was other people as well. But there's a lot of things I can mention regarding that point, but I haven't got time for that. So let's leave that for now. And by the way, the Mola hadith, the Mola itself, the word itself, has like 25 or something meanings, right? So using that is not, like you're using something very ambiguous. Okay, now I'm going to use Shia sources to prove the legitimacy of Abu Bakr anhu's leadership and successorship. Abu Bakr actually consulted the Sahaba, and Ali actually, like if he hated him, why would he speak to him? So he consulted with Ali anhu, and Ali anhu, he advised him. So the lesson here, they were mutual friends. They had helped and advised each other. This is in Nahjul Balagha. Balaja, and then it says, and this report is also by Al-Amili. It's found also in Wasail al-Shia, Bihar al-Anwar, and there's many places where you can find these sources. Sunnis don't accept Nahjul Balagha, but the Shias do. There's also another report where it says, Ali says, by Allah, I had no liking for the Caliphate, nor any interest in the government. Whereas Shia believed this was Imama, like this is something that it was his right. Where Ali from the Shia sources themselves, he's saying that I had no liking for this. I wasn't interested in this. There's another report where it says, then he says, verily the people who paid allegiance to Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman have paid allegiance to me based on the same principles as allegiance to them. So anyone who was present has no right to go against the pledge of allegiance. And then he says, and anyone who was absent has no right to oppose it. So what this narration proves, is that the first 3 Khalifas was with the pledge of Allah. Ali anhu himself is saying this. Because he says, if you look here, he says, and verily, he says, let me just highlight it. He says, and verily, Shura consultation is only the right of the Muhajir Ansar. So if they decide upon a man and declare him, Ali is saying this, and declare him their Imam, then this is with the pleasure of Allah. This is Nahj al-Balagha. Like these Shias accept this, because I asked him beforehand, I said, you accept this source? He said he accepted this, and this is a scan for this. Yep. So basically, there's a lot of sources here. Hopefully, I can address some more points later.
Okay, yeah, that's on. Ghost, it's your time now, yeah?
Okay, wait.
Okay, starts now.
Okay, here. My Wi-Fi is good, so that's a good thing. Now that's all off. So here, I saw you mentioning a few sources. Number 1, Natural Balagha. When did I say I accept it? If you actually met any Shia who has one bit of knowledge in the Rijal, you would know Natural Balagha is not even a mu'tabar book, okay? It's the book of Akhlaq. It's not even majority authentic. We don't believe it's an authentic book as Sahih. And you also brought Hur al-Amali. Hur al-Amali, he says this hadith is sahih, but have you read the footnote of it? He says it was done under taqiyya, and you're just oh, taqiyya is a bad cope and everything. I mean, I couldn't care honestly if your belief is taqiyya is a bad cope, because, for example, if someone is in danger or he has to say something, or like let's say a chain of narrator of it was in danger, so he had to change something, the word, then it was done under taqiyya. We can say that. And if you have a problem with it, our Rijal doesn't, because, for example, Hur al-Amali, he said, for example, the hadiths of fasting under Ashura was done under taqiyya. So yeah, we believe in taqiyya. I firmly stand upon it, but also we don't believe Najm Balagha is a sahih book, so I don't see what your point is. Number two, since what was it, my Wi-Fi is good now, I can actually send scans finally. So here, now in the basement tree, here. So here, you also said Mawla has many meanings. Here, Ibn Asir in his book, he says one of the meanings of Wali Mawla is guardian, master, etc. And you're gonna say, well, how does it relate to this place? Well, I'm gonna give you in your own centric mind. Okay. If a king was under his deathbed, or he was on a road trip and he's old, he's near of death, why would he gather up? I'm going to use my own Shia sources here. Gather up 120,000 Sahaba. Here, the scan is coming. Gather 120,000 Sahaba just to say that, look, this guy, he's my friend. Be cool with him. I mean, yani, look, if you say Rasulullah gathered a bunch of men just to say Ali was this and etc., it's quite illogical. And here, you still haven't actually went on the topic. I said, read the word again, Khalifati. It's about successorship, and you said, oh look, this part is not mutawatir. I already sent you multiple times. I'm gonna send you actually again here. Let me get Ibn Hajar. Where is Ibn Hajar? Here, Fatul Bari. I'll also get the scan since my net is not that bad anymore. Here, Ibn Hajar. He says this one is actually this one is very mutawatir. I will also get the scan real quick. So here, open document. No, it's gonna waste time anyway. Okay, and then now for other scans here. And also about and let me just get the scan first. Jump here. Done. Tafsir al-Razi. Twice. Wait, let me just find it. Not this one. Yeah, I'm close to it. Here, finally. So in these scans, no, not this one. Here, finally. And here, in this book, here you talked about hidden things. Here, it doesn't go by the Sunni standards. In this scan, here, as I sent, it doesn't go by your own standards of it. And that's the first thing. And here, I'm gonna send another thing, because I was also talking about how Ali is a master. So here, now I go in another document, and I show you. Here, no, not this one. Yeah, here, Kanzul Amal. Here in this book, I'll also send the scan real quick. Sahih in the Asnad. Here, Ali is also being known as Wali. And I already sent you Ibn Asir. It's saying it's Sahih. Do not repeat your words. Actually, stay on what I'm saying. Ibn Hajar says it's mutawatir. So that's the first thing. 10 seconds quickly. Path of truth. I'm in a lot of servers. Path of truth. There.
Yeah,
comes on Ali being a wali again, and I already showed you Ibn Asir. He says the meaning of Mawla Wali means master in this situation. Rasulullah was about to die. He gathered many people for no reason, just to call someone a friend or a leader. Hypothetically, if we think, would a king on his deathbed or something make someone a leader, or just call him a friend? so everyone will be close with me.
Okay, that's 20 seconds extra for Qasim. Qasim, this is going to be the final round, so it's going to be you and then Ghost after you, and then we're going to hold like a Q&A session. Okay?
Wait, we said there should be 4 or 6 rounds. It's been like 5 or 4.
5 or 4
This will be
rounds?
the last round if Ghost is okay with it.
We can go up to 6.
Okay, sure then. Alright, Qasim.
Because
Yeah, that's
majority
fine.
of the rounds, my Wi-Fi wasn't great, so yeah.
Sure. So 2 extra rounds? Is that calm?
So which round are we on right now?
So right now you're on the 4th round, I think.
Okay, yeah, 2 extra rounds. Okay,
Okay.
now we're wasting time. Qasim, go on.
No, okay, Qasim, start now. Come.
Okay, so you mentioned about taqiyya, like, come on, bro. Come on. That's just, it's getting embarrassing here. The hadith I quoted to you from your own books was from Amali, right? And you accepted that as a sahih hadith. And the hadith, all it says is Abu Bakr is asking for advice, what should I do with this person, right? And then, whoever the person was, he says, what should I do with him? And then Ali saying, burn him. He's giving him advice. And you're saying this is taqiyya. Why was he lying? Why was he like, no one forced him at that point to like, give me advice or I'm going to kill you? It doesn't make no sense, bro. And one thing I want to point out here is that any religion that has taqiyya, when it comes to preaching, like when it comes to preaching, you don't know if this person is telling the truth or falsehood. That's a major problem. I want you to think about this. If you take anything away from today, just take away this. If any religion, while preaching, that person is actually not telling the truth, he's doing the opposite, that's a major problem. The Prophet said, Ayatul Munafiqi Thalathun. The sign of a hypocrite, 3. إذا حدث كذب, when he speaks he lies. So the only exception we have is in war. When someone says it, or for example, we have a hadith in Bukhari that talks about wife, or to bring 2 people together. But when it comes to preaching the religion, that's a whole different matter. This is a religion of Allah. We either stay quiet or we say that's good. We cannot now lie about the religion just because of fear. It's like you can't just fear what? Like he's asking for advice. He's not. It's not like his life was in danger. If your life was in danger, then we have cases where you're allowed to say words of kufr, but in your heart you believe something else. That's when in your life is in danger, when you're about to get tortured, and that's clear in that regard. Okay, you can see my screen here. I'm going to show a couple of sources. Okay, so I'm going to show a couple of sources where it proves the legitimacy of Abu Bakr from our sources. The Prophet says, verily I do not know how much longer I will remain with you. After me follow these 2, and he pointed to Abu Bakr and Umar. So he says, I don't know how long I'm going to live, I want you to follow these 2. So this is a Sahih Hadith. You can see this. I've sent the link so you guys can later on check the references. There's a woman. She asked, "What in your opinion should I do if I come to you but do not find you?" And it seems as she meant that he might die. Thereupon the Prophet said, "If you do not find me, then come to Abu Bakr." So this again shows the successorship, that he wanted Abu Bakr to be the leader, but he did not want to. He wanted the people to elect themselves. Like they were mature enough to do this. The way you guys make it out is that all these companions have left Islam, except a handful. Like this is this what you're saying the Prophet did with his companions? Is this the tarbiyah? Is this the upbringing when it comes to the companions? Secondly, there's another hadith where the Prophet during his illness, pardon? Okay, so the Prophet during his illness, which led him to return to Allah, he insisted repeatedly Abu Bakr should lead the Salah, even though Aisha she gave him alternatives. She said, what about someone else? He didn't accept that. He was very insistent in this hadith in Bukhari. There's another hadith where the Prophet said, Allah and his believers will not accept anyone besides Abu Bakr. The Prophet was very, very clear, he will not accept anyone besides Abu Bakr. This is in Sahih Muslim. And then let's leave this part. By the way, Ali himself, right? And you guys call him. He's supposed to be rightly godly Imam, right? He actually gave bay'ah to Abu Bakr. This is proven from even the Shia sources, but it's proven from our sources. Even if he said 6 months later, he still gave a bay'ah. And bay'ah, you don't give it to a munafiq. You don't give it if you look the way we see Ali radiallahu anhu, he's a lion. We regard him as a lion. You guys make him as though he's, he let his wife get killed. According to some Shias, if they accept that report, he get his wife get killed. He got this will happen. He taqiyya, like, where do you think? Okay, let's say, where did Ali, were there anyone that supported Ali radiallahu anhu? Why did everyone suddenly support Abu Bakr? That's a very important question. Why did everyone suddenly support Abu Bakr, not Ali? Abu Bakr didn't have an army at the time when the Prophet died. So these are things I should ponder upon. And there's also another issue where the Prophet's sickness intensified. He said to Abu Bakr, he said, "Bring me a shoulder bone or slate so that I may write for Abu Bakr a document in order that no one differs in this matter." As Abdul Rahman prepared to stand up, the Prophet said, "Allah and the believers reject anyone differ in your matter, or Abu Bakr." So you see here, the Prophet was even about to write this document, and then he clearly mentioned that he doesn't want anyone to differ about Abu Bakr. This hadith in Muslim Ahmad is Sahih. There's plenty of narrations. Like I said, you guys can check it in your own time. I'll send the link again, just in case you haven't seen it. That's it.
Qasim, your time's done. Ghost, tell me when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, there.
Let's go.
First of all, you're not responding to what I said. I gave you multiple meanings, and you went on your own words of Abu Bakr leading Salah and his attributes. Stay on the hadith that I'm trying to tell you, akhi. I'm telling you, in this hadith, not hadith, actually mutawatir according to Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, one of your greatest scholars of Rajal. You guys hold a knowledge to him in Rajal. He says this part is not removed. You're saying this part is removed. And also about Abu Bakr leading Salah. That's a whole other topic. So you're telling me if I lead Salah, I get to be Khalifa? Damn, I didn't know it was that easy. It doesn't work like this. Also, I can just send you. I already sent another person the same scan of the fallacies between Abu Bakr leading Salah, and you said Ali gave bay'ah, etc. Yeah, we believe this. The only problem is that you see, we believe it was done under taqi, because you see his wife got killed. Also, we have another hadith that says that he should not kill them until he got 40 Sahaba on his side, 40, and at that time he didn't. So that's the first thing. And number two, you're saying, oh look, he let his wife die, etc. No, that's not what we believe. Have you read one single narration about the fire? We believe he wanted to kill them. He actually was sitting on Omar's chest, but he remembered the words of Rasul, and he did not until 40 Sahaba, and at that time he didn't. So number one, you're making a logical fallacy, and number two, you're going off topic of what I'm saying. I'm trying to tell you to stay on topic, not go to Abu Bakr leading Salah. I don't care about that. And what I'm trying to tell you is, please stay on the topic. And and I already sent you
3 minutes left.
It doesn't matter. I already sent you multiple scholars of Shia as well, saying that at the event it was great, and it will be hosted on the heavens, Jannah. For example, another scholar, Sheikh Hadi al-Najafi, he actually supports this heavily and says there was no mistake done in this hadith. And if you keep on saying, oh look, taqiyya is a bad claim, no, I'm saying hadith of Abu being friends of Ali, we heavily reject this, because, and you say taqiyya is a bad thing, you're embarrassing yourself. So you're telling me, when Imam Ja'far told us, when there's two contradicting narrations, the Imam have to decide on something logical. When someone is about to get killed or his wife is dead, I think he would do taqiyya logically. And either way, it's just him saying, oh, which one should I kill? Should I burn him? Ali was known to be an executioner of Rasul. So either way, you're not proving anything. If Ali said, yeah, sure, burn him, it's not friendship, okay? If someone tells me and goes up to a grocery store, tells me, is the Sprite or Coke better? Am I automatically friends with him? I'm best friends and I'm going to Jannah with him. And number two, the hadiths that you brought of Abu Bakr will be the best, etc. I already showed you. You're not going on topic with what I said. Ibn Hajar said Ali had the most attributes than any other Sahaba. And you also said, oh, you guys believe only a handful of Sahaba will go to Jannah. Have you read the one scripture? We believe there will be 12,000 or even more. It's actually, people don't say, oh, 2 people and that's it. And this guy and that guy. Like, we don't believe this. Go out of Sunni discourse or the 12 or Shia.net who show you a scholar that no one has ever heard of saying this. We do not care. Okay? That's the first thing. And now the second thing. And I already showed you Sibt al-Jawzi. He said there was 125. And I already showed you our scholars even saying that if look, this is hidden, it's illogical. So as you see, scholars have even refuted it. Also, the topic of ijma, and when there's, let's say you brought one scholar, and I bring 3, and I think 3 people's ijma over 1 is superior. Also, you brought Sharif al-Murtada. Sharif al-Murtada, he still believed there were way more other things than Ghadi that were logical. So I don't see a problem. I mean, Sharif al-Murtada, he believed in many other things that were logical for Ali being a successor. For example, Hadith al-Taqalain, that he believed that was very logical. And he also, again, believed Eid al-Ghadi was still in Jannah. So he still believes. It just is kind of hidden. That's it. I'm going by your own logic. And also, you're saying Hur al-Amali, that thing. Amali, I have a question. Do you actually know him? Because the way that you're quoting his scripture of Abu Bakr being friends with him, you also know that he was not a Bakri scholar. Fun fact, he was a Safavid scholar who hated the Bakris a lot. He actually wanted the eradications of Bakris from Mashhad. So you try and prove that, oh look, he believed they were friends. It's kind of a bad thing. And also, he was one of the leading figures who wrote Bara under the coins of the Safavids. So I don't see your point being logical. And the execution, and nothing has to do with it. You brought Najr al-Balagha, we don't believe it's a Sahih book. I don't care if some website named najralbalagha.net says these are Rawafid, say the book is Sahih. I most probably wouldn't care if some Salafi named Ibn Taymiyyah or Taymi Enjoyer says, oh look, this book is Sahih. We don't believe this. You also brought a lot of Sunni sources. Matter of fact, they're not Hujjah, so I don't care. I recommend you to bring something Hujjah. I brought some Shia scholars who said this. You brought like 2 scholars that I have never heard of. I only heard one of his name. I already read the tafsir. And also,
Your time's up.
wait, I want to just add that real quick. The tafsir, it just says he was in the cave, so not a really good point. The Shia sources that you brought up, you're not very clear of Abu Bakr being a good guy or a Khalifa. As a matter of fact, they curse him. They actually do bara in their books.
Okay, Qasim, you can start now with an extra 15 seconds.
Right. Okay. So when I mentioned the Mola, for example, it has multiple meanings. The point there is that you cannot use ambiguous. This is it's like a concept that is known by anyone. That you cannot use something that's ambiguous. It has dual. It's something that people differ upon to use as an evidence. Because then there's different opinion. Like the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned, halal is clear, haram is clear. The in between the doubtful areas. There's also a hadith about you should stay away from doubtful things. So using something that's doubtful, like you said yourself, your own scholar said this is all these evidences are there's a hidden meaning. Like we can't it's not clear cut. I even showed you from the grandson of the Prophet where he himself said this. So in that regard, you're using something that is not clear cut. So now let me show you just one more narration from our books, and then I'll go to your books a bit more. So this narration will just close the story in our book. So anything you're going to quote now is just worthless. Who himself wasn't sure if he's imam or not, or if he will be the imam or not. There's a narration here in Bukhari where it says. Then it says there's a person who said to Ali, he said, by Allah, I feel that Allah's apostle will die from his ailment, for I know how the faces of the offspring of Abdul Muttalib look at the time of their death. So let us go to the Messenger of Allah and ask him who will take over the caliphate. If it is given to us, we will know as to it And if it's given to somebody else, we will know, we will inform him so that he may tell the new ruler to take care of us. Ali said, by Allah, if we asked the Prophet ﷺ and he denied it us, the people will never give it to us after that. And by Allah, I will not ask Allah's messenger for it. So he himself didn't know he's going to be a Khalifa, and he could be denied as well. And he didn't understand the man kuntu mawla like that, because otherwise he wouldn't have said that. So using stuff like that from our sources is useless. Now let's go to your sources. The reason why I'm quoting from Nahj Balagha is because one of your friends mentioned that they're reliable, like it's reliable book. So that's the reason. I even mentioned it.
Awesome. I
You
told
said,
you 5 times that we don't believe this.
Wait, Ghost, don't interrupt. Okay, that's the extra 5 seconds, Qasim.
I think you said it's muttabar. I think maybe that means relied upon, right? Maybe you can clarify
No,
that.
I said
But anyway,
it's
your friend
not
mentioned
mu'tabar. But
it's
sure,
not.
go on.
Okay, I'll try finding that again. Because I thought that was Hujjah, that's why I put this here, otherwise I wouldn't have put it there. Let's continue. Because most of these references are from there. They're from the sermon. Yeah, so because I thought that was Hujjah upon you, but if it's not Hujjah on you, then there's no point in me quoting this. It'll be the only one that's applicable is this. And like I said, this was consulting. The hadith talks about consulting. It's not talking about just asking him randomly. He's consulting about the Islamic deen. And and you're saying he's taqiyya. Anyways, let me see if there's anything else left. I think I'm pretty much done here. Let me see. Actually, I'll mention something about Mola in the meantime, because you was going on a tangent on that one.
Yeah, Qasim, you got 2 minutes.
Yeah, no problem. Give me a second. I'm just gonna find out if there's any other information I want to mention about the Mola. I think. Okay, so here you can see, guys, when I mentioned there's about over 25 meanings, you can see that it means Lord, the uncle, the cousin, the son, the nephew. It has multiple meanings. You know, if the Prophet is clear in his speech, he doesn't mention something that's going to be ambiguous. So that's, again, it's not hujjah because it's ambiguous. You don't use something vague. And then let me see if there's anything else. So this is the same thing. There's a report here in Ibn Sa'ad, and it's a Sahih chain, and it's in Tabaqat al-Kubra, where it's the same thing what I mentioned, that even the grandson of the Prophet didn't understand it like this, where he mentions that if it should have been as clear as Salah, Zakah, Ramadan, fasting, etc. If it's not clear as that, then it's not Hujjah. You can see the scan there as well. I mentioned that before as well. Let's see. Al-Hilli also mentioned this, right? He said this is the hidden proofs for the Imam of Ali. It's not clear cut. So why are you using something that's hidden? You know, we're not using something that's hidden to show the virtues of Abu Bakr. And we don't believe in divine. We don't believe that the Prophet is said in clear, but we say he implied it. But there are some narrations that do imply that he actually, because within the Sunni tradition, there's two positions. One is that the Prophet actually was very clear in regards to his appointment, and I showed you some hadith regarding that about the Abu Bakr should have been written, his name should have been written, and then So the other camp is that this is Shura, and Shura is from the Quran. If you guys want to see some references, I'll show you in a minute. But also, if you see the word awliya is used, and it has a similar
Alright, Qasim, your time's up now.
Okay, I want to real quickly respond to everything that he said. First of all, you did not respond to one hadith that I sent. You actually went on your own way and going off topic of what I said. I said Ibn Hajar, he said, what was it? Ibn Hajar said Ali has more virtues than any Sahaba, and also, I also said, what was it? You also brought a brief thing about it not being mutawatir. I already responded to it multiple times. I'm waiting for your response, but it's been around 1 or 2 rounds, and you still have not responded. Okay, if you want to debate, please respond to someone's wording. Okay, for example, what was it? I sent you. You're no, not to. I mean, you're using Najr Balagha. You realize Najr Balagha and the author Radi, he doesn't believe that they were good friends. For fun fact, since you're reading Najr Balagha, you should know in one of the first sermons, sermon 3. You know what it says? Ali believed the Khalifa was stolen from. So as we see, Ali already had a rebellious side for them. So you can't say, oh look, in this hadith it says this and that other one. As you see, there's 2 contradicting views, and as we know, Imam Jafar says, when there's 2 contradicting hadiths, we should do the Imam should decide on something logical. And I'm not saying it's taqi. I thought you're gonna bring the hadiths that Ali had. He liked them, but no, you just bring one, and you say, oh look, it's just consulting, okay? Okay, if I'm in a math quiz and I go to my friend, I say, "Yo, bro, what's the question for this?" And my automatic, and well, not my, I'm just some random student. I automatically, I say to him, "Yo, bro, is this the question? Is it right?" And I automatically friends with him, and he's my best friend for eternity. And he also quoted from Najm Balagha. Read the third sermon. It believes his Khalifa was stolen after it. So as we see, Ali still had no like for Abu Bakr. He just said, "Oh, burn him, done." And as we know, Ali in our books, for example, in Fawab al-Ammar, Ali actually wanted Abu Bakr to be killed, but since he couldn't kill him, as he didn't have 40 Sahaba with him, he did not. He wanted to kill them. He had much hate for them, as we read in Al-Jabal Sermon 3. So you could, using contradicting views, using a non-Muslim book there's not even a Sahih, you also using books like Amili. Amili says the friendship with Abu Bakr and Ali were nowhere, as they both had a grudge against each other, and Ali always cursed them. And there's another hadith in your books.
2 minutes left.
What?
You got 2 minutes left.
Use it as well. You also have not responded to the word of Khalifati. Khalifati is about successorship, not about a daily random thing of me calling someone friend. You keep on copying about, what was it? Mawla having 25 meanings. Akhi, I showed you Ibn Asir saying in this moment it is about mastership. Ibn Asir, in his dictionary, he says as well. And also, same with Ibn Manzur, the author of Lisan al-Arab, he also agrees with him in the footnote. So, I already brought you 2 scholars who wrote great dictionaries that is still used by you. For example, in Lisan al-Arab. But you see, you're still not responding to them. And let's see, Mona has 25 meanings, and it depends on the context. And that's what you believe. In the context of a king being near his death, going on top of a mountain, gathering 120,000 Sahaba, and calling him a friend, that seems like a king just wants to waste his time when he's dying, or calling him, or appointing a successor. You need to respond to what I'm saying, Akhi. Don't just go ramble about another thing because, oh look, Mawla has 25 meanings, so I don't know, maybe some random crap.
30 seconds left.
Okay, 30 seconds left. And another thing, you brought Sharif al-Murtada and al-Hilli. They still believe there were other hadiths that explicitly prove the successorship of Ali. For example, it seems like we don't know who al-Hilli is. He was known to be one of the greatest Shia polemics of all time. He debated Sunnis a lot. You think he said, "Oh look, there's barely any proof of Ali." He
Yeah,
actually
Ghost, your
makes a lot
time's
of
up.
proof of Ali in his books. So that's the first thing. Sure.
Is there
Yeah,
another
so
round?
Qasim. Yeah. This is
No,
the
the
last
Q&A will
round.
start.
Yeah, so this is going to be the last round, and then after this, we're going to have a Q&A session.
Alright, so basically he's just going on a tangent. He's talking about I've quoted Hilli, and whereas he has other beliefs. I quoted Hilli to show you that, and I quoted other Shia scholars to show you that whatever hadith you're using about Mawla and all this from Sunni tradition, these are not clear. That's the reason I'm using that. I'm not saying that they're Sunnis now. I never said that. What I'm saying is the evidence you're using against Sunni is invalid. So stop using that in the future, inshallah. Okay, and secondly, when it comes to the Sunni position, I showed you it's rock solid. As I started off the introduction, and I said this is a rock solid house. You cannot break this because it's. I showed you multiple evidences, and you talked about Ibn Taymiyyah says. You said this before. You said Ibn Taymiyyah says it's mutawatir, so I don't care what Ibn Taymiyyah says, bro. I showed you narrations from each collection. I went to each collection and I got like roughly about 7 to 8 narrations, and what all it requires is 10 narrations to make it mutawatir, and I can easily get them. You understand? So and by the way, these 10 narrations are from Ali himself. Ali himself from Abu Bakr is saying Abu Bakr and Umar are the best after the Prophet. So. And I'll give you the Quranic verse. The Quran is very clear, and I've also showed you multiple tafsir. I can give you the reference for them. There's a Shia tafsir again. Obviously, the Sunni tafsir, they have consensus on this, but this is from the Shia tafsir. You also mentioned about contradicting narrations. You said, "Oh, when there's two contradicting narrations, then we use logic." Whose logic? Are you just going to use anyone's logic? What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm just going to use logic? When it comes to Islam, you're just going to accept any imam's logic that okay, this person says this is contradictory. That we have certain principles in place, and when the scholars when there's two narrations that's contradicting, they don't just say, oh, if we're just going to use logic and that's it, full stop. What they use is principles from the Sharia. For example, they say, is this contradicting with the Quran? Is this contradicting with some fundamental thing within the faith? And they'll base upon this. They're not going to just say, okay, I feel like this is incorrect, and it's just logically I feel that this isn't correct. That's not how they approach the science of hadith. Let's see if there's anything else. Is the conclusion next? Just to confirm, is the conclusion next, or is it? Shall I conclude?
Yeah, let's do conclusion. We have to do conclusion.
All right. So
Oh,
I also
what was the
said the
question?
Khalifa. I said, is the conclusions next, or is it now?
Okay, so this is going to be the last round, and then you're going to have a Q&A after it.
What
Okay.
about conclusion?
I have a few questions.
This one here is the conclusion.
All right, no problem.
Okay.
How long have I got left?
You've got 3 minutes.
All right, 3 minutes.
Yeah, just tell me when to start.
Yeah, you can start now.
Alright.
So in conclusion, we love Ali radiallahu anhu, and we believe as people of Sunnah that he was a great Khalif. So however, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was supposed to be the first Khalif, since the Prophet indicated towards it, and by virtue of the fact that almost all Sahaba immediately gave bay'ah to him. Otherwise, reflect upon how you feel when someone praises the killers of Ahlul Bayt, and when someone says something bad about Ahlul Bayt. So how do you feel regarding that? And also how the Prophet would feel when such actions of his ummah are displayed to him. And in similar way, reflect how the Prophet would feel if he knew people were are making these close ones like Abu Bakr who target of criticism. Where is Abu Bakr right now? He's buried right next to the Prophet. Where's Umar? Right next to the Prophet. So just think about these kind of things. And the place where the Prophet is buried is the holy place. Why? Because the Prophet is holy himself. We know about many narrations where just his body is miraculous. Where the Sahaba used to run to grab the water. Anyhow, the point is, do not criticize them. I would advise, don't disrespect the companions. They sacrificed their lives for the deen. They spread Islam to multiple places, whereas you just keep that in mind, inshallah. The Prophet said, "Do not insult my companions. If one of you were to spend the likes of Mount Uhud in gold, it would not reach a small portion of theirs, or even half of that." And then I'll conclude with two verses of Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim." He says, "تلك أمة قد خلت لها ما كسبت ولكم ما كسبتم ولا تسألون عما كانوا يعملون." He said, "Those are the people who passed away. For them is what they earned, and for you is what you earn. Nor shall you be questioned as to what they have been doing." There's also another verse where it says in Surah 59 verse 10, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالَّذِينَ جَاءُوا مِن بَعْدِ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا وَلِإِخْوَانِنَا الَّذِينَ سَبَقُونَا بِالْإِيمَانِ. And then the verse continues. And the meaning of it is, for those who came after them saying, "Our Lord forgive us," and those of our brothers who preceded us in faith, and do not place in our hearts any rancor against those who believe. So we make dua of, may Allah forgive them for any mistake that has occurred. Obviously, we know there were battles and whatnot. So our outlook is a Quranic outlook, where we don't delve in the past to such an extent, and we don't insult those who have passed away. We leave it to how it is. My advice would be to focus on connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and building our deeds, our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And my sincere advice is just ponder upon things that were mentioned, like his response to, like, for example, taqiyya and these kind of things. What major, if you, it's a major thing that person does taqiyya in their religion, when and if you look within your sources and you find
10
that
seconds left.
regularly there's taqiyya that's being used, I want you to just ponder upon that and think to yourself, why is taqiyya being used again and again, and how can we differentiate between the truth and the falsehood?
Okay, Qasim's time is done. Ghost.
Okay, I want to give a few questions since it's Q&A time.
No,
Okay.
no. Your thing is next. Your conclusion is next.
Okay,
and then the Q&As. Yeah.
Okay, now my conclusion. Now, Qasim, I've been waiting for you to actually respond to my hadiths. You still have not. That's the problem. I already told you multiple times. Ibn Hajar says this about Ali. He has more merits than all the other Sahaba. I showed you why Ghadir has 120,000 Sahaba, and you're still rambling. Of Mawla has 25 meanings. I showed you your scholars say this is about mastership, and you said Ibn Taymiyyah. I didn't say Ibn Taymiyyah. He's not good in Rijal at all. He gets a hadith. He says it doesn't go with his methodology. He calls it weak. I'm not talking about Ibn Taymiyyah right now. I'm talking about Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. You know who he is? He's one of your greatest scholars of Rijal. Ibn Hajar, yeah, he agrees with me. He says this is mutawatir, and Ali actually has way more merits than all the other Sahaba. And you say, oh look, Abu Bakr was buried next to Rasulullah. Okay, and Rasulullah never said, bury these guys with me. And I have a question. You realize you guys believe the body of Ali is in Afghanistan, right? You don't believe he's in Medina. You deny his body is in Kufa, Iraq. You believe his body is in Afghanistan. And so I can just say, oh, so Ali's not righteous. Because by your logic, oh look, these people were in it because they were righteous. What about Ali? He was one of the Khalifas. And also, you're saying, oh, we love Ali so much, yet you still have muqassir beliefs of him, okay? I don't think muqassirs really have love for Ali, as our scholars have said multiple times. You also have been twisting my words a lot. I never said, oh, look, Ibn Taymiyyah said this or anything. Don't twist my words. You're strawmanning yourself. And that's the first thing. And number two, another thing is that when you actually try to bring arguments, majority of them weren't even mutawat. Najm al-Balagha, you brought one narration and didn't talk about its contradictions. You were mocking me of believing taqiyya. This hadith was not under taqiyya. I'm just saying the hadiths of the actual friendship were under taqiyya. I'm not saying this one is under taqiyya. Don't mix my words with yours, okay? And I already told you multiple times, this has nothing to do with friendship. If I go to exam and I ask someone for help, am I automatically friends with him? He's my best friend. We're gonna be Khalifas for 25 years until some other guy named Muawiyah is gonna come and ruin my Khalifa? No. We're not like this. It doesn't prove friendship at all. And also, you're mocking in the form of taqiyya. You have taqiyya in your own books. Ibn Taymiyyah believed in taqiyya. He was actually a valiant defender of taqiyya. And also, you're Ash'ari, I remember back to talking to you. Ash'aris believe in taqiyya, so you're self-harming your own aqidah. That's the first problem. For example, Al-Lusi, he was a valiant defender of taqiyya as well. That's the first thing. And you still have not responded to any of the hadiths I sent. The one in Muslim Ahmed, it's laying in the bookshelves like it's filled with cobwebs. Can you respond to that? Ibn Hajar, Fath al-Bari is now an old 500 centuries ago book. It's still in the bookshelf of cobwebs, it seems like. You still have not responded to anything. You just rambled about how this hadith in Najm al-Balagha supposedly says that Abu Bakr is good. So we're gonna say it's good. Although you have not even read like the first 3 sermons of Najm al-Balagha. In the first sermon, Ali explicitly said that the Khalifa was stolen from me. And Abu Bakr deserves hell. So that's the first. I already showed you many dictionaries, like Ibn Athir, one of your greatest scholars. He's saying this is about mastership. He gives his tafsir. And same with Razi. Al-Razi, one of the Ash'ari scholars. So this one is about you now. And it's his tafsir, so even more.
Ghost, you have 40 seconds left.
He also believes that Ali, and this is about mastership. Ali is a master. And you say all of these scholars are not Shia because of what they say. I never said this. Do not twist my words. I never said, oh look, Hur al-Amali said this, so he's not Shia. When will I say Hur al-Amali is not Shia? I'm a valiant defender of Hur al-Amali. I actually hold many of Hur al-Amali's beliefs. For example, in fiqh, I actually take a lot of his fatwas from fiqh as well. Other than Muhsin al-Asfar and Fayd al-Kashani, etc. So, number one, you twisted my words, you did not respond, and you rambled about 25 meanings of Mawla, although I already proved that this time the meaning was about mastership by Ibn Athir.
It goes, the time's done now. Finish. Okay,
no,
so guys, we're gonna move. Yeah, sorry, guys. Did you say something?
No, I said, okay, now Q&A time.
Okay, so the Q&A is gonna start now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Qasim. Someone's gonna ask a question for Qasim first, and then Ghost, and then we're gonna repeat that until every side has had 5 questions each. Do you guys agree to that? Is that fine?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So if you guys could write your questions in the chat and say who the question is to, I'll read it out to the debater.
Okay, who has the question?
I'll go first.
Yeah, sure, Rizzy.
Yeah.
Alright, his response about Mawla meaning friend. The thing is that Ghadirkum was after the Hajj, and when you go to Hajj, we know that you must forgive your Muslim brother and sister for whatever sins or hardships or grudges they've got against you and you've got against them. So you can't hold anything against them. So the claim that the Sahaba still had hatred in the heart for Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam even after Hajj actually proves they were munafiqeen, because they've come after Hajj and they've still got for Ali, which is why wait, goes, let me finish. Which is why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi must now give the statement, whoever I am his friend, Ali is his friend. So that makes no sense. You're refuting your concept of all Sahaba are just when they're all hating Ali ibn Abi Talib even after the Hajj. So
yeah,
if you just respond,
wait, goes, shh, let him finish.
Yeah, Qasim, if you could just respond to that, because if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam meant friend, because your Sahaba had some grudges against Ali, they had come back from Hajj and then they went to Ghadir, so they had to forgive Ali for whatever grudges they had against him because they had come back from the Hajj. So how do you respond to that? If you're saying that your Sahaba never forgave Ali, you're saying that they were munafiqs and couldn't even do the Hajj properly because they still kept hatred for Ali in their heart.
Okay, so this was an incident that happened away from the Hajj area. So this was actually a place where there wasn't a lot of people there.
There was
there were people from the best place to, if you wanted to say this, the best place to have said this, you should have been at the place where straight away after the Hajj, where the Prophet actually gave a sermon. We have his sermon recorded after the Hajj. It's called Hajj al-Wida. So that sermon is actually recorded. the hadith that you're talking about, which was said like a distance away. It's like if you just, I've got a map here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. So in the map, he said it from a distance, and so there was an incident. It's a singular incident that happened, and there were certain people that said something. Let me just find the context for it, and then I can probably shed a bit more light on it. In a second.
Can I just respond to his claim about why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never gave the statement a Hajj? Qasim.
What is the Rizzi? Allow other people to ask questions.
Yeah, once I finish this one, if we go to Sahih Bukhari 6830,
essentially, no, just let me just quickly finish. Essentially, I can't find the context of this, but essentially, it's a singular, and now for whatever reason, people can sin after Hajj, right? It's not an impossibility, right? So hence, there's no issue here and there. It's neither here nor there, and we don't believe in infallibility of like the imams and whatnot. So if mistakes have happened by the people, it's neither here nor there. It doesn't prove nothing. Now you can go on to the next question.
Wait, but Qasim, can I respond to you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, if you check the VC chat, Sahih Bukhari 6830, Umaran Abdurrahman ibn Auf was talking until Abdurrahman ibn Auf says, O chief of the believers, do not do that, for the season of Hajj is the riff, raff, and the rubble, and it will be they who will gather around you when you stand to address the people.
Just let Ghost have a question and then we can come back later to this.
Okay, sure, fine.
Okay. Now, Qasim, I have a real small question. Why did you not reply?
No, Ghost. We have to ask you a question. Come on.
I thought I was going. Yeah. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone know?
Look through the thing. So has anyone got a question for Ghost?
And first, I'm pretty sure like everyone in this VC is a Shia Rafidi. I don't think.
No, there's a few Sunnis. They might have questions. Sweet.
For the Sunnis, base James, base Warlord, Abbas.
So could I finish my question to Qasim until someone asks a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So basically, the essential point is Abdurrahman ibn Auf says that if you give a statement at Hajj, the people will change what you said and they will spread your statement and not actually say what you have said. So if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the statement at Hajj, they would have distorted his message, which is why he never gave it a Hajj. Point number 2, you were talking about Ghadir Qum, like there were only a handful of people. Here's a Sunni historian. If you check VC chat, he says that there was 120,000 Sahaba at the event of Ghadir Qum. 120,000 people there. Yeah. I'm just making my point. And the third point where he said that the people can sin even after Hajj. They have to forgive Ali for their grudges prior to the trip to Hajj. Then they go to Hajj, they're done with Hajj, and they go to Ghadir Qum. They have to let go of grudges to Ali, yet they still keep those grudges. So yeah, that's my point, Stan. If anyone else has a question, they can ask.
Yeah, so my response to that is, just give me a second. My mind goes blank sometimes. On to some other people. Could you summarize your question again? Sorry, I was just reading something and it's covered.
Okay, point number 1. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never gave the statement at Ghadir. No, he never gave the statement at Hajj because Hajj is a bad place to give a statement. Point number 2, there weren't just a handful of people at Ghadir. Your historians have said there were 120,000 Sahaba there. And point number 3, when you go to the Hajj, you have to forgive your Muslim brother and sister for whatever they've done to you. Otherwise, your Hajj is invalid. Yeah, so these are the same people who spend time with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they know this stuff, yet they can't let go of grudges of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Makes no sense. You're proving your Sahaba were munafiqeen.
Okay, so yeah, I understand the question. So if this is not, look, the thing is, if you're saying that the Prophet was ambiguous regarding this, he said it in a different time, and it's not something that reached the companions in a clear-cut way, then that's a That's a major problem. This is supposed to be the fundamental of the
It
deen,
did
according
though.
to
It
you.
did.
So it did not reach
Even
just ask your
Umar gave
question.
Ali
Ask
the congratulations.
ask your question straight away after the Prophet when he passed away. Why did the people at that point not rage? Like, why didn't people not rebel and join Ali and say, look, the Prophet was very clear. We should, fight against Abu Bakr. Nothing like that happened. Why did the people not at that moment join Ali and fight against? Because Abu Bakr never
They
had no
did.
army at that point. At that point, that was straight away after the death. There's no army with Abu Bakr at that point. There's no like when it comes to support, Abu Bakr doesn't have no support at that time to that degree, to that degree. So why did everyone suddenly turn to Abu Bakr and accept his Khalifa?
Can I
You know,
answer that? Can I answer?
over Ali. And why didn't Ali try to take his right, like the way he did with Muawiyah?
Okay.
He went
Guys,
to battle with
guys,
him.
Can I
When with
answer?
Abu
Can I
I've got a
Bakr,
answer?
question
nothing
for
like that
Ghost.
happened. So
Yeah,
just
okay.
ponder upon
Hold
these
on,
kind of
hold on,
questions.
hold
Question
on.
for Ghost.
It's the exact. Hold on. In fairness,
No, no, no,
it's
no.
the exact
Come
same.
on, that's
In fact,
turning into a debate. Allow it, allow it, allow it. Okay,
so just,
Ghost,
just,
Ghost,
just
Ghost,
the law.
Ghost. I've got a question for you. Does the cave incident with Abu Bakr prove he
No, it doesn't. Also, I have a document on this in furnace, so I'll just send it to you in DMs.
Can
I
I
know the two
respond to the
quotes:
Abu Bakr thing?
companion and Allah is with us.
No,
I
no,
know
don't
those.
send me the document. Just speak. Like, just talk about it here, bro. That's
In
why.
furnace, the only problem is it's around 5 paragraphs. I need to send it to you in DMs, but I'm just
I
gonna
can
read the first.
summarize it.
Okay, summarize it. Okay, few
Okay,
scholars said
so
this is not about what the tafsir is, the Arabic context, etc. It's quite big.
okay, so the thing about Abu Bakr in the cave, it says number one, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa alihi, said to his companion. They're trying to say that because Abu Bakr is his companion, it's a merit. And point number two, it's because it says Allah is with us. So apparently, because Allah is with them, this is a merit for Abu Bakr. We go
But
to Quran
Allah,
chapter 12, verse number 39. Yusuf alayhi salam is speaking, and he says, "Oh, my two
yeah,
companions of
I already
prison."
know this. Yeah, yeah,
It's not, but okay. So I'll respond, or you can respond if you already have it. Then
yeah, I already have the document. So let me just open it real quick.
okay, sure, go on.
Here, Abu Bakr in the cave. So there's two main arguments, the one Allah being with us, and then the word companion. So I'm just gonna read the full. Well, I'm not gonna read the full document, like the basis. The Quran mentions in Surah Tawbah, ayah 40, said to his companion. That means Abu Bakr is the Prophet's companion. So surely this must mean that he is a believer of great degree. Before jumping to such assumptions, let's take a look at the word companion and how it is used in the Quran. And in Surah 12, Ayah 39, O my companions, O my two companions of prison, are separate and lords better than or Allah, the one or the prevailing. Here Yusuf salam is calling out his fellow prisoners in cell and referring them as companions. So as we see, the word companion is used many times in the Quran. So if I call someone a companion, he still is someone bad or good. It doesn't really matter. And the Quran uses the word companion multiple times. And in addressing the claim of Abu Bakr again, Surah Ayah 40, Rasulullah says Allah is with us, etc. You already know. Firstly, there's no basis for the claim that Allah is not also of the disbelievers. Do you not see that Allah knows whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth? Nowhere there is a secret council between the three persons, but here he is the fourth of them, nor between five, but he is the sixth of them, nor less than nor more, etc. And this is in Surah 58, Ayah 7. And it's quite a long document, so I need to just send it to send in text real quick. I'm just gonna send you the basis of Allah's being with us.
Can I
So,
respond to that or no?
sure. It's a massive text.
So yeah, that was said in when it says I understand the Sahabi part. You're saying that other verses being used for different. When the Prophet is saying to him, Allah is with us, la tahzan. He said, do not grieve. Allah is with us. This is said in to comfort him. this is said to come from. It's not just like Allah is the third of us. He's just if there's two people then Allah is the third. He's not saying that way. He's saying la tahzan inna Allah ma'ana. Allah is with us. So he's saying do not grieve. Allah is with us, meaning that these people were after them, right? They were running away from Mecca, and so they were running away. So he feared, and so he said, "Don't worry, like Allah is with us. Allah's protection is with us, essentially." So it's very, very clear that Allah is with Abu Bakr anhu.
It's very clear. Well, I already sent a full, well, not full document, just a bit of the document, refuting this claim real quick, so you can check that out. And is there any other questions? Is Samadi Sunni?
I'm waiting for someone to send a question, but for now, no.
Okay.
I think there's one from Ali, maybe.
Ali, the Shia Muslim?
Maybe.
Yeah.
One sec.
Let's take
he's not muted.
Let's take about two more because I gotta go, bro. Like, plus there's not that much questions anyway. Let's take about two more, maybe each. I don't know. How many we got left anyway?
Okay, and what is it? Guys, unmute Ali real quick so he can talk.
Yeah.
Hold on. So can I finish my point to Qasim then, because we were interrupted.
No. You're a passive homosexual. No.
Okay, so Ali says, is Qasim willing to discuss 940? Right.
Quran chapter 9 verse number 40, where Abu Bakr is in the cave. That's what it means.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. We can, after we go to general. You sure? Me and you, we can discuss.
No, they can discuss this after the debate is done.
Oh yeah, sure.
That's a whole different topic.
Yeah, I know, it's a whole different topic. That's what I told Qasim. It's different.
Okay, so can I respond to Qasim since no one else has any questions?
Later
two more. Just give me about two more questions to me, two more questions to him, and then let's just finish it, inshallah.
Okay, sure. If no one else has any questions,
Rizzi, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna? Because the back and forth you have is like a debate, bro.
Yeah.
The Q&As now. Yeah, so we've done one for Qasim, we've done one for Ghost. Now we need to do another one for Qasim, Ghost, and then one more cycle again.
Okay, so let me give one to Qasim.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
but don't turn it into a debate because it's just gonna long things out.
Don't worry. So a statement of why did the people not give allegiance to Ali there and then? They did. Even your Caliph Umar did. Tafsir Ghurib al-Quran wa Raqib al-Furqan al-Masaturi, Volume 2, page 616. He mentioned the verse and then he says, Umar then said, congratulations to you, O son of Abi Talib. You have become my Mawla and the Mawla of all the believers, male and female. So subhanAllah, even Umar recognizes Ali's leadership.
I don't know where you quoted from. Some Gora, what was that? Gore by Gora. I don't know what the hell's going on. He's speaking.
No, but he didn't give
I don't know what you quote. The thing is, the sources are gonna send in the chat. I'm not gonna be able to check them, so you have to quote them. You quoted
the only
them.
problem is you're mocking the source. Do you realize?
Bro, I'm responding, so you're not supposed to be.
No, brother. Number one, remain respectful. Number two, I send the scan to you in DMs.
And I wanna.
Let me have a look.
I just want to say that your Ashari Sheikh Al-Razi, he actually agrees with this. So you're mocking your own Ashari scholars who even believe this claim. So yeah.
Alright, so you're showing me what exactly from this tafsir of
tafsir of chapter 5, verse number 67, when it says, now your religion has been completed. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam announced Ali alayhi salam as a Mawla of all believers, and then Umar congratulated him.
Alright, so I told you this will become sharp because we have reliable reports that we have clear Sahih reports where Umar anhu stepped aside and then people basically gave
That's not true. What is this? I've brought you Sahih report saying Umar gave him the
okay, moving on to the next question. Ghost, do you believe in Tahrif?
Do I believe in Tahrif? Incompleteness is not Tahrif, but I do believe in incompleteness.
Okay, now last question for Qasim and then last question for Ghost. Rizzi, carry on with Qasim now. Don't debate. again.
Okay.
Yeah, do not make another TV series of me
Bro,
talking.
no other Shias got questions?
Bro, I mean, dude, barely any
Tafadhal,
shame and talking
tafadhal, yeah,
to
no problem.
Nasir does.
Go on,
Nasir.
Rizzi.
Everything Nasir.
Nasir? Ayatollah Nasir? Is Ayatollah Nasir here?
No,
Okay, let's
Nasir went.
start with the question. The last question, go on, and then we can bounce.
Okay, there's a question for Ghost, but I don't see one for Qasim, so we'll just do Ghost right now.
Okay, anyway, just tell me.
Can you tell us more about Tahrif and the whole thing about
Okay, first of all, in fairness, I'm not trying to like get doxxed by jihadists again. So that's the first thing. And number two, if anyone wants to discuss Tahrif with me, is Shia VC a thing in the server?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna join Shia only, and we're gonna discuss because I don't want a Sunni coming around and saying, "Ha, look, Shias believe in incompleteness."
No, it's a Sunni asking you the. Never mind.
Oh,
Let's
okay. Oh, it's a Sunni. Oh, okay. Which Sunni?
I can't find the thing anymore, but I remember the question.
You Betty boy, fam. You're a passive homosexual. How can you not
Bro,
find it?
Ghost,
Are
bro,
you that
just
dumb?
either answer the question or we move on to
relax, man.
Okay, anyway.
Why are you calling names for, man? Relax. My
Okay,
guy's
sure.
going
I'm
deep.
just gonna send you this.
Don't
Here.
send it to me because I'm not. I don't. It's not my
Shut
question.
the hell up. You're a passive homosexual. No one cares.
Ghost, just
Yo,
discuss it here. Okay, now let's move on to Qasim.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, serious. No, so there's a hadith in Sahih ibn Hibban agreeing. But sure, I'll just send the scan real quick. So, Google document. Various Google document. There. Tahrif ul-Quran. Ibn Hibban. Path of Truth here. Done.
if you
Now
like,
everyone.
I was just gonna say, if you like, the next debate, it can be about tahrif, because that is something I feel is fundamental than this, even this topic.
Okay, well, first of all, Tahrif, some forms are kufr, but majority are not. I'm just saying.
If you like, we can discuss that maybe.
Sure,
We'll see.
later on after the debate, sure. And neither was Abu Bakr.
Anyway, no more questions for me then. Shall I bounce?
Yeah,
well, I don't know how you bounce on the
I don't.
internet, but like, sure.
No more questions for Qasim.
Oh, that's
Qasim,
Yeah, it's the end, guys.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum.